Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Captain Logan Show. It's me, Captain Logan, and joining me as always is my son, my chat moderator and co-host, Jason.
It's me.
And tonight, in lieu of news, we're going to do kind of a old-fashioned GNN type topic. And that's going to be our lead-in and probably a lot of the show. My plan right now is to go about an hour tonight. I've got a lot going on, and I've got a plan. I got to work on stuff for a writers' meeting this week. So if we have a lot of interaction tonight, and there's a lot of stuff people want to talk about, we'll go a little longer than that. But if we're mostly just doing this topic, kind of getting in and getting out, we'll keep it at about an hour. But that topic could go half an hour, it could go most of the show. It really depends on you guys, and if there's anything else you want us to talk about outside of this topic, or even things within this that you come up with that you want to interact with us with. So as always, Super Chat guarantees that we talk about your topic, whatever it happens to be within reason in the geeky sphere, and if it's not related to Star Trek and the topic at hand, we will save it for the latter portion of the show, but again, probably not a full 2 hours tonight. And then we're going to end the show tonight with a little bit of Star Trek trivia, because we haven't done any Star Trek content on the channel in a while, and I was watching some Trek over the weekend, kind of getting a little bit more into that headspace, although I know I say this every time we talk about Star Trek, but I'm just massively rusty on Trek. I don't watch anything like as much as I ought to, and I just don't have it, my head in it.
I will say
all the time.
I'm not in the headspace at all, because I haven't seen a full Star Trek episode in like a year. So,
and you didn't even watch anything with us over the weekend.
No, I didn't. So
we watched the pilot of DS9 on Saturday with my kids, because Freddie and Mikey hadn't seen it, and Freddie was in the mood for DS9 and likes that show, but doesn't even, I think, or at least prior to that, even necessarily got some of even the basic premise of that show, because he'd watched episodes out of context, and that is, of course, a weird show to just scattershot watch random episodes. Like, there are lots of really great, like episodic concept shows in DS9, but much more so than any of the other, at least original 5 series before New Trek. You kind of gotta understand the basic setup with that show and the situation. Being more of kind of a Western in space, it's much more of a complicated situation than we get in a ship and we go explore and we come up upon some kind of odd phenomenon. Mm-hmm. You got to know what changelings are. You gotta know the politics of the Bajorans and the Cardassians. You gotta understand why there's a big wormhole there. You gotta know what they're talking about anytime they bring up the prophets. You gotta understand how Ferengi capitalism works. I mean, I could go on.
I did walk in on you.
You gotta get the joke that Morn talks constantly, but you never hear him talk. Anyway, I'm sorry.
I did walk in on you guys watching DS9, and there was and it was the episode where Odo gets messed up.
Yeah,
I was like, what?
That's a great episode, and I have not seen that one very much. Like, I've probably only done a full start to finish DS9 watch like once, and I've probably watched through the Dominion War seasons like 3 or 4 times. All together. But that's a pocket that, like, I've seen, but I don't tend to go back to very much. That, like, is that 3 or 4? See, I'm not even sure about that. I think that might be 4. That's the episode right before Explorers with the solar sail vessel. Mm-hmm. Hammock time. But anyway, so Star Trek tonight, we're going to talk about what Star Trek looks like to viewers in 2025 versus when it started and even while I was growing up. So the question is, how futuristic does this show watch these days? Mm-hmm. And there's kind of a couple of different paths to take with that. One of them is, what technologies did we treat like they were super far-flung, we don't even expect to see these for a couple hundred years, that we're already past now. Yeah. That 50, 60 years after TOS, we've conquered and gone beyond, and we couldn't have even imagined at the time in 1966 how great that tech would already be. Not even a whole lifetime after that. So we can go down those, like the things that, and some of that will be kind of obvious and kind of elementary, but will be fun to talk about. You'll have some things that are just obviously still very futuristic that we're not close to yet, and then you'll have other things that the phone in your pocket is much more powerful than, and so we can talk about all of that. And then the other avenue that I'd like to explore with this, if we can, Jason, is the kind of balancing act that you would do hypothetically in a full-on reboot, because even with New Track, while they're not super concerned, it doesn't feel like, with continuity, they kind of go back and forth with it. They have their cake and eat it too real hard. It's technically still supposed to be prime continuity, even though I think the whole thing is broken and I can't really look at it as counting. But I'm saying, if you were to totally start fresh and extrapolate from today, how much would you have to lose so that it didn't even look like Star Trek anymore, to make it believably futuristic? Or is there a certain amount of just kind of kitschy iconography that you're trapped with for it to still feel like Star Trek? And then what would you have to... how far-fetched would it be at this point? I know this is going to sound kind of cynical of me to say, but how much more far-fetched does it feel like now, maybe, this is kind of a loaded question, to get to the optimistic and enlightened future of Star Trek through the technology that we have now and how advanced things are getting, how quickly things are changing, versus the way we were looking at it before? I.e., can you still have like the very quickly changing internet and AI future that we're coming up into, where we're relying more and more on the technology and people are feeling in some ways less and less human? How do you extrapolate that a couple 300 years into the future to where we still can have a positive look at the way technology can make us a more enlightened species? So these are all the things I'd like to talk about. I just wanted to lay all that out because it's something of a complex subject. And before we do that, though, let's hit a couple Patreon questions. We'll finish out the ones for the month. And quick plug for Patreon, if you'd like to get in questions for next month, because this will be, will this be our last show for this month before we get into December already? Because next week is Thanksgiving and we're going to be out for that whole week.
Yeah, I believe.
So I think it is, yeah. So we'll go ahead and hit the rest of Patreon. We didn't get very many this month, but I'll put out a prompt for December soon, and you can get your questions in then. And just $2, the $2 tier, patreon.com/geekvolution, and that guarantees that we'll talk about your topic, even if you can't make it for the show. Let me also put in real quick while I'm thinking about it, a quick plug for Friday. I've got a writer's meeting, so I'll be starting the stream later than normal. But instead of a rewind commentary that night, Austin and I are going to begin our countdown of our 50 least favorite superhero movies of all time. So look forward to that. And we'll get out forms for you guys to fill out soon. I don't know if we'll have them ready by then, but soon, so that you guys can put in your 50 least favorite superhero movies, and we'll put together a collective list like we have already done with the top DC and Marvel heroes and with top 100 superhero movies, etc. This has become like a thing. And we're getting back to it finally.
Great.
So I'm excited about that. Anyway, so sorry about the lengthy preamble, but let's go ahead and get to these quick Patreon questions.
I wonder what your number one is.
I don't know yet. I still haven't put my list together.
I'm gonna say it's Son of the Mask, probably.
But well, I'm not going to say that, because even if it is, I don't want to spoil it yet.
Sure. Okay.
But I mean, have you seen that movie?
No, I haven't.
It's a good contender.
I have seen Turbo, a Power Rangers movie.
Yeah,
which is more of a pirate thing than Megaforce, which is hilarious.
No, that's great. That's great because they don't even have pirate suits, but they have pirate suits in Megaforce. There's no pirate stuff in that show. Yeah. Do you remember that show where we did Star Trek trivia and Power Rangers trivia
at the same time? Yeah.
Yeah, you remember that? That was fun.
That was fun. I don't know what any of those have to do with each other, but...
they're just both things that we know things about.
This is a Patreon question from the Amalgam Nation.
Yeah.
What do you think about comic books that adapt movies? The official comic book adaptation types to be clear. Would you want to review any of them?
I have reviewed several in the past. Now, he may be talking about things beyond just superhero adaptation, because that's primarily what I've reviewed, because I own several of those. So in the past, I've done like the 1990 Batman movie, or the 1989 Batman movie, and I probably did the Batman Returns one. I can't remember. You just
did a commentary with
I did a commentary with that for Patreon. I did the 1990 Ninja Turtles one, and I own several of these. I actually just bought the Batman Begins one recently. I didn't have that. I'd never read it.
You should review that.
But yeah, it's sort of like, as far as what I think about them. First of all, they're sort of like prose novelizations in that you struggle a little bit to understand what the point of them is. And we don't make them anything like as much as we used to. And I've talked about this recently, probably on that stream. But for folks that didn't hear that, because that's not publicly available right now, I'll just reiterate a little bit and say there's not as much of a novelty for those now, because the movie comes to streaming into video so quickly that a lot of the reason people bought those before, I think, was to kind of experience the movie again while it's still in the theater.
Yeah.
And to see if you missed anything, to get maybe inklings of a little bit more detail that didn't manage to make it into the movie.
Well, now you get the synopsis on Wikipedia, like the day it comes out.
Good point. But yeah, I never thought about that. People probably bought them just kind of as Wikipedia articles or like synopses, even, where it's like, I don't remember what happens at this plot point. You thumb through it and find it. And then also, even when I was a kid, just more people read.
Right.
And so if you're just looking for reading material, you got a certain amount of time each day you read. People read when they go to bed. You go, I really enjoyed that movie. I want to re-experience it and see if the prose is any good. So they'll do that. So comics, yeah, but comics are sort of that way. There's some that are. I mean, Peter David wrote several that were decent. But anyway, because Peter David did the Fantastic Four one, the Tim Story Fantastic Four one.
Really?
Which is like stupid thick. Considering how unsubstantial that movie is, where it's really superficial, there's nothing going on in it. That book is weirdly thick. I think it might be behind us. I'll show you a little later. I'll see if it's back there.
Wow.
And then he did the one for Ang Lee Hulk.
Okay.
And he did a lot of those. But anyway, I digress. As far as comics go, just like with books, I think one of the main reasons people bought them was just to have a collectible from the film.
Yeah.
In a time where you maybe didn't have as much stuff that would come out for something. And even when you did, you'd be like, well, I gotta have, all of the accoutrement that goes with it. And then, it's cheap stuff.
Well, now it's popcorn buckets, so.
Yeah. It's, a cheap collectible. I mean, that's part of it. I think they're most effective when just in kind of recreating the movie, but for the comic format, in not trying to make you feel like you're watching a movie so much as recreate that same story, but keeping the format in mind and taking it back to comics. I mean, it is kind of interesting that it's sort of this like dog chasing its tail thing, where you've got the comic that I'm talking about with superhero movies anyway, where you got the comic that becomes a movie that then becomes the comic again. Sort of like Street Fighter to Street Fighter the movie to Street Fighter the game.
Yeah.
That sort of thing. But even when it's, say, a science fiction movie, where you have like a novelization of RoboCop or a novelization of Aliens or something, it's most effective when it's a miniseries or graphic novel length, which I think has rarely been done. Usually it's either an oversized one-shot that tries to really cram it in, and typically will put way too many panels on a page and will arbitrarily skip important moments just to get it all in there, or just to at least create the illusion of getting it all in there. Some of them even read like they don't expect anyone to read them, so much as just sort of flip through them and, oh, yep, that's that story, and then and then you move on. But they also are sometimes handled as miniseries, like the Jurassic Park Top series did, where that was
that's an adaptation.
That's an adaptation. That was a 4-issue mini. It's got great covers. I've been slowly buying that up. I think I bought 3 of the 4 so far. It's not like the most common thing, but lately I've been running into them, which is cool. And then Topps also did a bunch of really bad sequels to that before Lost
Yeah.
World came out, and I want those now too, just because they're funny. And again, I kind of like the covers, but
The covers are really good.
but anyway, yeah. So like they're more of a fun novelty and just like a cool thing to display if the covers are good for me. But when they're most effective as stories is when they actually give you enough space
Now,
to get all the major scenes in.
my question is, what do you think of the...
And sorry, real quick, I'll also say, in pacing them out right, you want some, especially if it's an action movie, you want some cool full-page spreads and stuff.
Yeah.
So you need enough space. But anyway,
Definitely. Now, my follow-up question is, what do you think of those, like, little kid adaptations that are, like, the little kid books that get, like, nothing in there at all? And sometimes they're for movies that you shouldn't even be showing
aren't
your
kid-friendly.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've talked about that before, like with Dark Knight Rises.
Mm-hmm.
Where he goes to the sewer and fights Bane, and that's it.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing. No, those are hilarious.
Yeah.
I have sometimes kind of ethical questions about that, where it's like get the kids excited about a movie that they can't see. And sometimes it's not even ethical so much as just that's not fair to the kid. Like if the parent's being responsible, they'll let them read the book and they're like, oh, but you have to see this movie when you're older. It's like you just got them hyped for the movie. Like that's not fair.
Yeah.
So I don't love that. But what I do kind of dig. And parents just have to be kind of savvy and pay attention to what's actually, because these days the lines are blurred. What's for them and what's for the kids. We also make a lot of kids' storybooks now that aren't actually for children, that are kind of more for adults, but are supposed to look and feel like storybooks. But then they find kind of clever ways to do a lot of like sexual innuendo or like
It's
allusions to
amazing.
violence, and that could be really fun. The Back to the Future one is pretty great. That one actually is kind of readable to kids.
Yeah.
But like there's a Friends one, and I forget what else. There's a bunch of these. It's kind of fun.
Yeah, no, it's so funny because there's the Batman one, and like that's even worse than Dark Knight Rises. Like
That's got terrorism. That's got domestic
that is
terrorism.
pushing PG-13, and it's got like Riddler on the cover, and it's like what?
That I haven't looked at that one. I'm just imagining that book is the Riddler has like I don't know, done something bad, and then he's sitting at a coffee shop and he's got his coffee with the question mark of the coffee, and then Batman goes and gets him, and then that's it.
We have a like Little Mermaid board book that I never understood because the cover is like, Ariel with her legs and it's got Ursula on the cover, and then you flip it over and it's literally just the first scene where they're like running away from the shark, and then the end. Oh yeah, she got to the concert. That's awesome.
That's it?
That's the end.
But she's got the legs in the front.
Yeah, and she's like,
That's awesome.
and it's got like the prince on it, and I'm like, what? Do you want to do this other Patreon question as well?
Yeah, do that real quick, and then we'll get to our main topic.
This is from SS Jerry.
Yeah.
I remembered a video idea you had that I'd still like to see, where you were going to rapid fire all the DC animated movies you hadn't talked much about and tell us which are even worth a watch. Is that still on the table?
I kind of forgot about that idea. That's still a good notion. I started watching those at one point, and the couple I saw, I just didn't love, and they didn't stick with me great, and it was hard to get excited about trying to watch a bunch more.
Problem is,
So
you can't binge watch those. Like, you can't watch a bunch of those at a time.
I think that, yeah, I'm with you. I mean, like, I could try. Like, that was kind of the idea. But what I did instead with a couple of them is, if memory serves, Austin and I watched two and did a review of them, and there wasn't much interest in it. And so that's why I didn't do any more of those. And then I have considered doing more of them as blind commentaries, just to kind of sample them, because a lot of those are sort of easy to talk over in that, like, they're kind of inconsequential, and not to be too dismissive of them, because sometimes you'll have a really good one, but a lot of them, like, people might have fun just sampling with you or seeing what your initial like observations are, what your initial reaction is, but don't necessarily need you to get real in depth with it. And then obviously down the road with the Rewind Commentary Project, we'll have to, even if nobody cares.
Yeah.
So, but I didn't want to do a bunch of them like that, because then you've got like 2 commentaries for movies nobody cares about.
Right.
So I was doing that for some of the bigger ones. Like we did it for the first part of the Watchmen 2-parter. And those interested in that, and that was a good way to do that, because like we all know that story. It's easy to talk over, and it was much more straight up Watchmen than I even expected it to be.
Isn't that the one with some weird voice acting?
Yes, and then I thought about doing it with the Crisis 3-parter, because that felt like a big event thing, because they made 3 of them. That's a record. Like, that's a precedent that they hadn't set before. And there's some kind of weird, now history-breaking things with that, because that's the last, I say history-breaking, just kind of a moment in history, I guess, because that's Kevin Conroy's last vocal performance in the last part of that. And they did kind of the CW Crisis thing, where they went to different animated worlds that pre-existed. But I've heard nothing but terrible things about that.
For like 2 seconds.
So that's why I thought about just doing a reaction stream to it. Because if it's really bad, it might be funny to complain about it. And if it's not great, but there's a few things here and there worth talking about, it might be more fun to do that with people than to have to sit down and watch them all and then talk about it for an hour and be really bored. So I mean, like, I know it's more of a time commitment for all of us, but it might be a better exercise. I couldn't decide. I couldn't decide which way to go with that.
Crisis is so bad.
Yeah,
like it's one of the worst things.
And that's that's the other reason I thought about doing a blind commentary on the animated Crisis, because I did a blind commentary with Austin.
Really?
Well, I had seen them, but Austin never had.
Oh,
so we actually have a reaction stream for those, and Austin's hilarious in that.
I gotta watch those
because he loves evil, angry, one-dimensional Kevin Conroy Batman.
Oh yeah,
he thinks that's hilarious.
Yeah.
So anyway, well, let's go ahead and get into our main topic for tonight. We're like 24 minutes into the show, and we'll just see how long we want to talk about this. So Jason, I'll let you kind of open this, and let's start with the academic exercise. So again, the question is, how futuristic is Star Trek in 2025? So, and again, when I say Star Trek, I mean the whole of it, the main kind of like iconic like imagery that you think about for Star Trek, the main just, you know, what that basic world looks like, right? 23rd and 24th century. Forgetting for right now the ways that we've kind of changed that to try to sort of match today with new Trek, because there has been, of course, an attempt at having your cake and eating it too, where you extrapolate into the future from now, but you're still saddled with all the Star Trek stuff, and so we can talk about some of that also.
Sure.
I'm not going to get real deep into new Trek because I don't watch it anymore, and so like there's quite a bit I've not seen at this point. But that and Abrams is a thing we should touch on a little bit, because we have more recently, of course, attempted to both make this feel still futuristic from now, but also still be fun, nostalgic throwback. And that's a hard thing to do, you know, at the same time. So anyway, I'm going to throw it to you.
Okay.
And why don't you break down, give us do the column thing for us. In column A, I wish I'd set this up so that we could write these things down. But in column A, give me a few technologies that are no longer futuristic. Mm-hmm. That Star Trek in the 60s or in the 80s or even in the 2000s played as, like it still would have felt very futuristic. And then in column B, technologies that we still are nowhere near.
Okay. And I want to, I think even before I get into that, I want to preface this with, I think for me, it's still very futuristic, only in the simple fact that we haven't discovered aliens yet.
Right.
And so I think that's a huge thing, a huge part of, that's the whole point of Star Trek. And so that's why I think it's not, it's still very futuristic to me.
You're saying some of it's not even just technology.
Yeah.
It's like, but you need the technology to get there.
Right.
And we don't have that either.
Right. But technologically...
So if the aliens showed if aliens presented themselves to us tomorrow, immediately Star Trek feels more quaint to you.
Yeah. Definitely. It would be the same thing with Back to the Future with time travel.
It would be the same thing with Star Trek with time travel.
Right. But if we figure out time travel, Back to the Future won't be as... Like, it'll be interesting.
Parallel universes.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's quite a bit of stuff that we discover in Star Trek.
Yeah.
That is hypothetical.
Mm-hmm. It's science fiction, I mean.
Stable wormholes.
Yeah.
All this kind of stuff.
So, technologically...
But I'm glad you brought that up because it's not just about technology. Right. You're absolutely right about that.
But technologically, as far as column A goes... Well, wait, sorry. I don't know which is which, but...
Column A is technology that is not futuristic anymore.
Okay, so as far as column A goes...
Yes.
Well, they're basically setting up Discord calls like every 10 minutes in that series. So, we figured that out. And then you've got the pads, which we basically have better versions of those. That's what those are called, right? Is that just TOS or
no? TNG's got them.
24th century.
No, 24th. Well, yes, because 24th century they get really funny. Have we not talked about this?
Because that's the buttons. I don't remember.
Well, pads look like iPads.
Yeah.
But what they'll do in, especially Voyager, is you'll have scenes where someone will walk in with like 15 of them and put them down on a desk.
Oh yeah.
So apparently they don't save. There's not a lot of storage on them,
right?
And they only deal with, like one thing at a time.
I love how we got.
They don't have apps on them.
We got to that and we went a step further and almost immediately, with.
Dude, early 2000s Palm Pilots did more than a pad did.
Yeah.
You could, I think, upload and download things from them to the computer, maybe. Mm-hmm. But I mean, one thing to keep in mind is the computer is not even completely interconnected to everything. Like, you didn't even really have, always have much of a sense of like intranet. By 24th century, I guess you did, but in TOS, everything was analog.
Yeah,
and you still had to put in like tapes.
Yeah,
you remember they called them tapes.
Yeah, it's awesome. So. Yeah, I feel like that's a big part of it is just, especially with TOS, none of it is digital, but yeah, those are the big two that I thought of, and also we're almost there, I think, as far as the ship computer.
Yeah. That definitely can still probably process faster.
Yeah, I agree.
Than a lot of what we have now, but you're right. It's a lot closer, and what we have is still less clunky than some of that feels.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I feel like it would be easier to start with column B, actually.
Well, can I throw you a couple more A's?
Yeah.
Just so that we can move forward. Communicators. Both hand communicators and comm badges.
Yeah.
And we can do both now. Yep. And one of the biggest things, and one of the biggest almost tragedies for Star Trek, visually, is that the view screen will never feel futuristic again.
Yeah.
And that might be what you meant when you said Discord calls.
Yes,
I wasn't really sure.
Yeah.
But the... like picture to picture, the person to person, ship to ship, we've been able to do that for a long time now. Mm-hmm. And like we were messing around with it. There were things that could do it in the 90s, certainly, and we were still waiting for the day where everybody called each other and had like real-time camera setups. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And we just have that now. And there's no way to make that feel like far-flung future, and anytime we try, it just looks impractical. So we like to do like floating holograms and stuff. That's how New Trek does it. Even DS9 does the thing in like a couple of episodes where, like, I remember the Addington two-parter did this for some reason, where we're trying out this technology where instead of a head coming on a view screen, you get a full body in a and it's impractical because it seems like only one person could use it at a time. But where you have a full body of a person that shows up as a hologram, just standing on the bridge, and it's like, I don't know what the point of that is, except it just feels more like the person is really there. And I don't know in that situation why you really need that. But losing things like the view screen, just as like a futuristic piece of technology, actually affects plot points sometimes, to the point where in order to keep everything in canon but still extrapolate to the future, you inevitably have to retcon things. Yeah. For instance, do you know why we didn't know that the Romulans were, spoilers, that the Romulans were cousins to the Vulcans until the 23rd century? It's because during the Earth-Romulan War, we didn't have view screen technology yet.
Oh.
And so ships were still hailing each other only auditory.
Oh. Wow.
So if the NX-01 has a view screen, what do?
Yeah.
And so Enterprise has to find goofy ways to get around that, which it does. When you get to the big Romulan three-parter in Season 4, they have to come up with excuses that we don't see the Romulans, just because we're not supposed to know what they look like yet. But the whole reason is supposed to be because we didn't have view-screen technology yet. Mm-hmm. So then this goes to a larger question, which is, what is the side you want to err on? Like, realistic futurism, because Star Trek always prided itself on being, like, one part fun adventure action TV and another part serious science fiction, and sometimes kind of hard science fiction. So, like, it is trying to be predictive, but at the same time, in order to be practical about its storytelling, it can't be too predictive. Otherwise, you wouldn't be able to relate to anything that's happening. Like, it needs to be recognizable in some way. So you have to cheat with some of that stuff, but what side do you err on when the thing is 60 years old?
Yeah.
And you still, A, want the canon to make any kind of sense, and B, you want the iconic stuff that still makes it Star Trek. So, like, it doesn't really make sense that you would go around with a tricorder and a communicator. Mm-hmm. But, and even in 09, when we did it there, it just feels like kitschy throwback. It's like, this isn't futuristic anymore, we're just doing it because it's Star Trek. Yeah. And so it feels like the purposes start to be a little bit different. Again, where it's as much about nostalgic throwback as it is about actually being futuristic. So it's like, is the right thing to do if you were taking it more seriously right now? Would the right thing to do be start completely over and get rid of everything that's not actually futuristic, extrapolating to now or to the future, and let it look more unrecognizable, and like extrapolate where do we go with AI and all of that, where there wouldn't be any, you wouldn't have one android in Starfleet. It'd be full of them. Yeah. Right? You have questions like that. Or should we use the whole thing as kitschy allegory, where it's not anymore about trying to be predictive? Now it's just keep going from the 60s, because it's harder to tell these kinds of stories now. Yeah. So anyway, I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself when I say all of that, but yeah. But I don't know. Yeah. I mean, like which way do you go? I think the latter is more entertaining.
Yeah, I agree. I think well, and also just like keeping it canonical. Because it's like, well,
I think at this point you about have to give up on that.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's what I love about Enterprise, is it just retcons everything. And it doesn't care.
Yeah,
it's hilarious.
Enterprise is so maddening sometimes, with all of that, because it's the first big thing that tries to, well, not Voyager does it some, but Enterprise especially is trying to have its cake and eat it too, with some of that stuff, where it wants the canon to hold together, but it also goes, here's all the stuff that by the early 2000s is feels really quaint, and so we gotta both extrapolate from now and also from the 60s.
Yeah. Enterprise, I've always said that Enterprise is like the worst parts of Voyager with the best parts of TOS mixed together.
Especially, certainly by 4, that's true.
To make a masterpiece.
I like it when Manny Koto comes in and stops taking it. It's weird because in some ways Koto took a lot more seriously, because he wanted it to feel like it was actually a prequel to TOS.
Yeah.
And so he sort of fixed it and broke it at the same time, because that show was always a prequel and a sequel simultaneously, and Koto came in and said, Temporal Cold War is stupid. I don't want to be a sequel, I just want to be a prequel. So he just wrote that out real fast with his Nazi two-parter.
Yes.
And then he said, let's... And then he said, and the way he fixes it doesn't make any sense.
No,
because he makes it so that the temporal Cold War never happens, but everyone remembers everything that happens in it. So like it makes no sense. And then when you move forward from that, he goes, okay, you can't really have TOS as a direct sequel, visually especially, and just practically with technology, to Enterprise. So what you do instead is you just pretend like the technology in TOS is incredibly advanced comparatively, and you just make it a conceit. And you kind of make a joke about it, but everybody in the show plays it straight. And he did that within A Mirror Darkly. So Mirror Archer gets his hands on this incredible advanced technology, which is the Constitution ship. And when they come over, everybody is in shock and awe about how incredibly futuristic it is. And it all looks like the cardboard sets of TOS, and it's wonderful.
Yeah.
And that's how you, like, in a really clever, creative way, do that sort of throwback fan service. And that felt like it was giving the viewer some credit. In a way, Abrams' Trek didn't as much, where it was kind of more just like, you remember Beam Me Up, Scotty, right? Ha ha ha. And it was trying to, like, visually look like where we'd go from, like Apple technologies and stuff like that. But they still are going around with a communicator that does nothing more than be a communicator.
Yeah.
And all of that. So there's not a lot of rhyme or reason to it. But also it's complicated because Star Trek was never, like, the most realistic thing. But up until Enterprise, it was easy to suspend disbelief enough to go, there's a lot of silly, hokey stuff in this, but I can still imagine it as a future.
Yeah.
And at some point, that goes away.
Yeah. Oh, man, the Abrams movies.
So what technologies are still very futuristic that are maybe not hard to wrap your mind around, but hard to imagine that we'll get to even in our lifetimes, let's say?
Big spaceships that have life support.
Yes.
Artificial
gravity.
Yeah.
Transporters.
We
can we've done experiences. Yeah, we've done experiments. Excuse me, where we've teleported like particles of light.
Yeah,
but that's as far as we've gotten with that.
Obviously time travel. But we've done lots of different ways of time travel in Star Trek.
Yes.
And
they don't all go together.
Yeah. And also, doesn't Star Trek have different types of time travel? Doesn't it both have the Back to the Future time travel and also the other time travel?
That's why it doesn't all work. Yeah. There are most of the time you can go back and change things. It is the Back to the Future thing, and just occasionally we'll do a version where it always happened the way it happened.
We don't have Geordi's visor.
Oh, that's true. Although that maybe we will see in our lifetime.
I feel like we might see soon.
Yeah.
Something.
No, that's a great point. The biggest thing Yeah, besides holodecks, but like
Holo-
we're moving more toward that kind of thing.
And just like, oh man, what? I can't think.
I think something like a holodeck is likely in our lifetimes, but I don't know that we'll ever get solid hard light technology where you'll actually be able to physically interact with things. But it does feel like the further along we get with AI, the closer we are to holodeck. And actually, the way you program the holodeck is feeling a lot like what people are doing with AI right now. And with all the... And I don't want to get too in the weeds with this right now, because we've done lots of conversations about AI, and there's probably more, like, just full-on topics to do about that. But... what if... So I'll kind of table this, but I'll just allude to it here and say... you've got a lot of debates going on. What?
Nothing.
You've got a lot of debates going on right now about like when people like program a thing with AI, tell an AI to make something, if it's actually a creative enterprise and if they own it. And all of that. Well, you have that in Star Trek with the holodeck. You get things like author.
That's true.
With the Doctor, where I mean, think about it. What exactly does he program? Like he speaks into the computer. And this is not a great example because he's also an AI, but the Doctor or whoever is creating a holodeck program would create parameters and say, I want this kind of story and I want these things to happen. And maybe he would plot it out to some degree, but the exact like physicality of what every character looks like and all the landscapes and everything, a lot of that's pre-programmed. A lot of that is artificially generated.
Yeah.
And you're still the author of it. It's in the name of the episode, you know? Or you get schisms where it's like, where you have that hilarious scene where you have it's almost an X-Files episode where you get the three characters that have all been kidnapped by aliens. They've all been abducted, and they all have vague memories of this room they were all brought to, and so they're like, computer, make me a table, and then it creates a table, and, oh no, not that's not what the table looked like, it was an incline, and then the computer makes a completely different looking table with an incline, and they all go, that was the table!
Yeah.
It was just that table! And anyway, so like, they are just trial and error feeding things to the computer, trying to get it to make the thing that they saw.
Yeah.
So, like, that is what we're doing with AI right now.
Yeah, that's true.
In a more crude way, creating images and stories.
This is kind of with the same thing, because I think... I don't exactly know how the holodeck works, but I will ask, do you think we'll ever get something similar to a replicator?
Well, and the replicator was the next thing I was going to bring up. Sorry, I've got crying children upstairs, so I'm a little distracted right now.
Yeah.
But anyway, hopefully she's all right with them right now. Anyway, if she needs anything, she'll tell me. The replicator is the big one.
Yeah.
Because the replicator, and this is kind of where I was going when I said earlier that there's the question about... With as much as we're relying on technology right now and all this kind of misuse of AI and people in like companies replacing people with AI and people already, I mean, like, it's starting to look a little dark to me. Like, there's fun uses, there's good uses, there's interesting uses for AI, but we're already hearing really dystopian crap that people are doing with it, because of course we are. And so people are like outsourcing already all kinds of stuff to AI before it's even remotely, I was going to say ready. We should never be ready for some of what we're outsourcing with AI. Where people are trying to replace like boyfriends and girlfriends with AI. Like, stop it. That's a bad idea. So like, how do you get to the enlightened future of Star Trek? Not just the sappy, optimistic, it's a utopia, we all get along, there's no war and famine. You need replicators before you can get to that, first of all, because you have to have unlimited resources, or
Yes.
close to unlimited resources, and matter to energy, energy to matter replication gives you that.
Yes.
Again, it's not unlimited. You still have to have the energy in the first place, but it's much closer to unlimited if you have something that does that. You also need that before you can get to holodecks and before you can get to and then, like, it's related to transporter technology because they're both manipulating matter and energy, right? So all three of those technologies are kind of intrinsically linked. But I digress. The again, the question is, what does it take to for the, again, not just the sappy, it's an optimistic future, but a future where technology helps us get to a place of growth as opposed to takes our humanity away from us, where what we do with it, and what we do with it in Star Trek, the majority of people, is because there's so much stuff we don't have to do anymore with our hands. We're free, like, people don't have to work to survive. We're free to pursue our own interests, and we're actually responsible with that, and we pursue intellectual interests, or we pursue creative interests, and we build things, and we make things, and we still give back to society, and we're still contributing members of society rather than having the computers do everything for us. I mean, it's funny because TOS has no fewer than 12 examples of societies that do it the way it looks like we're going now, where you have the evil computer that tells everyone what to do.
Yeah.
And, like, we're getting closer and closer to that. There's a lot of talk right now. I know this is all dark, but there's a lot of talk right now. Like, will the AI eventually become self-aware and it becomes the Terminator future? I think much more likely, but in some ways almost as scary, is the AI that we rely on to the point where we let it control us, tell us what to do. We become completely impotent, and we forget how to do anything for ourselves, and we stop making anything. That's really scary. So where I'm going with all of this is, what do you need so that, starting from that place, you can end up in an enlightened future where the technology makes us, or helps us, gives us the opportunity to better ourselves. You need the replicator for any of that to happen.
Yeah.
And that doesn't by itself mean that we won't still let the supercomputer run us.
Yeah.
You can still have that. You can still have unlimited resources, and we're lazy as hell, and we don't want to work anymore, and we don't want to do anything. And just because we don't have to work doesn't mean we shouldn't work. And work can mean lots of different things. So that doesn't mean just because, I don't mean to get political about it, but that's not me saying just because we don't have to go burger flip at McDonald's for $9 an hour, it doesn't mean we shouldn't. That's not what I'm saying. There's a lot of different kinds of work. Everyone needs, and I'm soapboxing, I realize, but everyone needs struggle in their lives. It's just the human condition. You gotta have it. And so it's like, how do you make that, how do you manufacture that, how do you contrive that, but make it organic enough that it still helps push us and into something better? And the answer to that is, we want to know as much as we can know. We want to go explore the galaxy. And even with AI, even with replicators, I would assume exploring the galaxy is hard. So the best answer I can come up with is, if we actually gave a crap to keep working towards space travel, that's a good start. Maybe.
Yeah.
Unless we learn all the wrong lessons from it, and we just become, a scary conquering force, and, like, we're the aliens that go out and conquer and abduct people, and, we become those aliens. But yeah, I mean, I don't really have an answer so much as a question, but just, like, the enlightened Star Trek future feels harder when we're already at AI now. Because keep in mind, Star Trek doesn't even really have much akin to the internet.
Right.
I mean, like, I say that, I mean, like, I guess by the 24th century, you can, like, call anybody on the ship, you can kind of text people, so, I mean, I guess you have that, like, and you can, like, call people back to Earth, and all of that, and you've got
Is there texting?
On pads and stuff, yeah.
Really?
Yeah, they do it in Voyager all the time.
I didn't know they did that. Oh.
Yeah, you'll have when in fourth season when B'Elanna and Tom Paris are covertly dating, they don't want anybody to know about it. There's a scene where they like text each other on a pad, and it's like meet me in this cargo bay. So yeah, they do that kind of stuff. So I guess we've sort of got the internet by that point, but also keep in mind the internet starts around then, so we're not even predicting it yet.
Right.
TOS didn't really predict it. You didn't have that kind of intra-ship communication as much.
Yeah.
But we certainly weren't guessing at AI the way we have it. I guess sort of with the ship a little bit. You know, like by the 24th century, because you have, and even 23rd to some degree, but like you have voice recognition, which we have well before AI. But you're, talking directly to a computer that can give you the answers you're wanting and can converse with you. But it doesn't take on personalities and things. But I don't even know that well, you know what though? No, I'm dumb. Because the holodeck does it. Holograms are doing this. Right. They're just AIs.
Yeah.
But it doesn't take... But the thing is, the AIs themselves aren't running everything. It's almost like we can do that, but we're smart enough not to.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. Well, and it's weird because you get to TNG and you have Data, but also again it's weird because Data is like the only android.
Yeah.
In Star Trek.
And that was like one guy that was a super genius.
Yeah. That
managed to make the positronic brain work.
Yeah. So yeah, I guess we don't have the emotions chip.
Right. We don't have that.
And we don't have space photo albums. And we don't have.
Oh yes, we do. We can make that.
And we don't have stupid space blankets. And I don't think we're quite there even to the game yet.
Yeah, or Stratagema.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You're right. We don't have
Stratagema the one where you go inside the game.
No, Stratagema is the one with all the finger circuitry that does this. And then there's a hologram that floats, and then you're able to control where it goes with your fingers somehow. Mm-hmm. It's like a souped up Power Glove.
Yeah. And
that was very 80s.
What's the DS9 episode with the board game? I think season 1. I don't remember what that game's called, but I thought that was what that was.
Yeah, and that's sort of like a holodeck kind of idea. Yeah. I don't actually entirely know where they go when they go in it, because they're not miniaturized. Like, I don't think anybody... That's whimsical.
Yes.
That's barely technology. It's played as technology. I don't actually know what the hell is happening with that.
Yeah,
that's not... Sorry, the name of that is not immediately coming to me, but
yeah, me neither.
I mean, I remember they called the floor shaps, but I'm trying to remember what the whole Calamarain thing. Mm-hmm. But I forget what the name of the game was. But anyway.
So it is interesting because with going back to communicators, in TOS, you have the communicators that are on the wall.
Yes.
And we don't do that really.
Well, that's just an intercom system.
But it's interesting because
we have those in elementary schools.
I guess, but it's interesting because I guess why can't they just keep the communicators in their pockets? Because they use the intercoms to go to specific people, so it's I don't know why they have that.
I think the idea is having portable phones seems outside of the realm of possibility in the 60s. Mm-hmm. Or they just don't have pockets. Yeah. Because, I mean, they're already having to put, strap phasers to their to the sides of their pants and stuff.
Yeah.
Or did the TOS pants have pockets?
I don't know.
I don't remember.
I actually don't know.
I'm actually not totally sure.
And then, there's another big Star Trek technology that the name of it is escaping me just because words are not coming to me.
Sorry,
but
I don't know.
scanner thingy.
The scanner thingy.
Yeah, you just like in TNG you have it, and then it tells you what things are.
What, tricorders?
Yeah.
Oh, I mentioned that earlier, but yeah.
But we didn't get super in depth with that.
Yeah, and like tricorders were closer to.
Mm-hmm.
But something that can give you readings like that, where you can just scan a person and, I know what their heart rate is, and
yeah,
blood pressure and all that. But we'll see something much closer to that in our lifetimes, I'm sure. Absolutely. So, like, in your opinion, Jason, I guess we kind of covered this a little bit already. So you think that it's better to err on the side of throwback and still let Star Trek be Star Trek?
I agree. Yeah.
I mean, is that what you think?
That's what I think.
Is there a way though? Is there a way to kind of do both, where you can still be creative with, because I mean, after all, it is supposed to be science fiction. It is supposed to be, the what if statement and predicting the future. Like, can you still be speculative and have some gimmies, I guess, is the question. Because one of the things that I hear, and I complain about it too, that I hear people complain about all the time with New Trek, is very often their idea, and Abrams had this problem too, like I said earlier, is very often their idea of moving forward is, in things being just mind-blowingly futuristic, is interfaces in the air, just holographic interfaces and kind of HUD displays.
Yeah.
And they just don't go much
and they don't
past that.
Look like Star Trek. Like, that's, I don't know. I never got that with, like, I never saw anybody in Star Trek doing anything like that.
Well, okay, but let me throw this at you.
Mm-hmm.
If you go further ahead, is it okay that it looks less like Star Trek? Because part of the reason that was frustrating was because it was supposed to be 23rd century.
Yeah.
And it breaks your brain, where you go, okay, and especially in Abrams, because, well, actually in both, because they're both supposed to be initially prime continuity.
Yeah.
Like, yes, Abrams went in a soft reboot direction, but, and I know the excuse was we went to a parallel universe, but we weren't supposed to think that when we were watching that first movie. And so you just go back in time and everything looks different. And it's like, why exactly is that? So if you either flat out reboot, or it is the same continuity, but you move forward. If you started, let's say, for the sake of argument, you forget Discovery. Let's say New Trek started with Picard.
Okay.
And it started right at the beginning of the 25th century. We finally move forward. Mm-hmm. Would it be okay to get rid of some of the kind of standard major technologies, because eventually you would grow out of them? Because like it's like wouldn't you want to extrapolate to some degree from the future that you made that is now the past? You see what I'm saying? So when you look at TNG, they intelligently did quite a bit of that.
Yeah.
Right? Like they went, well, we're not going to have hand communicators anymore. We're going to have them here. Now, they still came up with a fun, toyetic, iconic thing that we all remember. And I think that is probably these days to a lot of people more iconic than the communicator.
Yeah.
So it's like, what do you do to beat that again? Well, I mean, the problem is everything would get more miniaturized. Mm-hmm. And everything would get more singular.
Yeah. Well, it's hard because it's like,
you'd have maybe a tricorder that did everything. It'd be like your phone.
But it's hard because if you're trying to be realistic with it, like, in hundreds of years, do we even still exist? Like, I don't even know. Like,
but if the idea, yes, but that's a conceit. That's, well, maybe not even a conceit. We don't know. But what I'm saying is, that's the premise, though. Mm-hmm. The premise is optimistic future.
Right.
Until you get to Discovery and they decide to jump from the 23rd century to the 31st or 2nd or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And then you know what they did there? And I've not seen the rest of Discovery, but what they do is they finally make that show what it should have been in the first place, which is go to the far-flung future so that you can get away from continuity and you can easily do anything you want to and not really fight too much of stuff. I mean, you still got the backgrounds of any races you want to use that pre-existed and all of that, but you're 800 years in the future. Mm-hmm. You can easily do anything you want to, and you can get really creative with futuristic technology. Like we said earlier, still, and I'll read your super chats in a second, Senior Sticks, still with the risk, of course, of things not looking recognizable enough to be able to look at, because like it's really, if you extrapolate too far, it just looks alien. You just wouldn't even know what you were looking at. Of course, like you got to keep that in mind. But what they did in Discovery is they have this thing called the Burn, which destroys the Federation, and they go to an almost dystopian future because it's Discovery, so of course that's what they did. Their 23rd century looks dystopian, and then they go to the future and everything's destroyed.
Yeah.
And just like with Mirror Universe, there's no contrast. But anyway, ergo, there hasn't been any innovation for hundreds of years. And even up to the point where the Federation was not destroyed, it doesn't look like there was very much innovation. So when they finally go to the future, like way into the future, they don't get creative at all with their technologies.
Yeah.
So what would you do? If you full-on rebooted or you went way in the future, what do you do?
Well, and the problem is, I think the problem with giving New Trek as an example is, let's just say, like, Discovery and Picard. Those are super dark shows, and I feel like if you make a show that is as light as TNG or
well, Strange New Worlds is very light.
Voyager, but Strange New Worlds is trying to be more TOS.
Yes.
Do 25th century
And
stuff,
Strange New Worlds
whatever.
is just throwback.
Yeah, but make it do, let's just say 25th century stuff, and make it more in the future, but make it seem more like DS9 Voyager TNG as far as at least in contrast to Discovery and Picard. Does that look more like Star Trek? I think so.
Yeah.
Just because of how it's shot and how it's written and like...
No, you're right. So you're saying this is less about technology and more about attitude.
Yeah.
More about tone.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you're right. Even DS9 feels a lot more like Star Trek than a lot of New Trek does. Mm-hmm. And forgetting Strange New Worlds because, like, it does look like Star Trek, but it almost looks like a parody of Star Trek at some point.
Yeah.
But again, a lot of that is attitude also.
Yeah,
because by their second season, they just go, what goofy cartoon premise haven't we done yet? And then it's just cartoons.
Yeah.
You know, now I haven't seen it yet, but like, and I don't know if it's out yet, but now I think it is. But now infamously, like, they're doing the stupid puppet thing. You know, like...
What?
Yeah, well, it's like we did the crossover with the cartoon show, and we did the musical. So, like, what else is there to do? Oh, we gotta turn Pike into a puppet.
What?
Yeah, they did the angel thing.
Are you kidding me?
No!
Oh,
because
man.
of course they did.
Oh, man.
And that's only slightly dumber than Patton Oswalt as a Romulan, to be fair.
Wait, what?
But, oh yeah, that happened.
Oh, no. Well, and the thing is, it's really
A
hard...
Romulan or a Vulcan, I'm not sure, because I didn't see it.
It's really hard...
He's one of those.
It's really hard to come up with new technology.
Yeah.
Because we've done so much science fiction. That
Sorry.
it's like, it's really hard to say what we come up with after, because we've kind of done everything.
But we probably thought we'd done everything, like...
That's why we ended with Enterprise. Like, that's why we stopped making Star Trek. I don't know.
No, it's not.
I mean...
we stopped.
That's why
we stopped making
wish
Star
they
Trek because
stopped.
nobody was watching that show.
Yeah.
But see, I never wished we'd stop. I mean, I felt like they were burnt out. I think we needed new blood, but we didn't need the new blood we got, and I think they needed some time off. But I always thought that you do the same thing that you did from TOS to TNG, where you take a few years off. Maybe not as long as we had between that, but we got movies too, you know, in that period, which already felt like we moved time up a little bit, but still didn't feel too far out of bounds, you know. But I always thought we should have done the same thing that we did when we went to TNG, where you just jump 80 or 100 years ahead.
Yeah.
And then you have some gimmies in these things were futuristic in the 23rd century, in the 24th century, in a way that they don't feel even in the, you know, in 2025. Mm-hmm. But then you extrapolate more from 2025. And yeah, you end up dating it to some degree in that way, but then that's also just your tradition of Star Trek. So, like, TOS, is dated in fashion, and it's dated in the analog technologies, et cetera, et cetera. In early TNG, you had all the like 80s grandma carpet,
Yep.
you know, and also some of the fashions, and stuff like that. So that's all. That's also part of it.
Again, I don't. A shopping mall in the first episode.
I think there is. Well, no, it's not on the ship.
Right. But I don't know, the fact that there's still a shopping mall.
That's true. That's very 80s.
And
yeah, absolutely.
There won't be, like, realistically, in the 24th century.
Yeah. Yeah, they didn't predict online shopping.
Right, they didn't.
No, that's true. Although I don't know how you do your shopping when you go to another planet and you're a tourist. I mean, you'd still have to have some places to buy things.
Also, I don't know. You can just replicate.
You can replicate it.
I don't.
No, that's
know,
true
I don't
too.
even know why there's a shopping mall.
Well, was it a Federation planet? I guess it was.
Yeah, it was. It wasn't it Earth.
Were we on Earth in that first episode?
Yeah.
Oh no, I think you're right. I think we were.
I don't get that.
That's right. Okay, let me read these super chats from Senior Sticks. Senior Sticks, can we get space toilets in 3D chess but real?
I created it and it's real.
Well, there is 3D chess. You can buy those. I mean, nobody makes them now, but those have been made. I've always wanted one. I forget what company made those, but there's. Have you ever seen those?
Yeah.
There's a really pretty. It was very expensive. 3D. I think the Franklin Mint did it. Now that I'm thinking about it, I think maybe that's what that was. I occasionally see them on Marketplace. People always have the boards, but not the pieces.
Yeah,
it's funny. And one guy, sorry, I just remembered this. One guy last week I saw, I was on Marketplace, and he had one, and he called it a Star Wars chessboard.
What?
And he took a picture where you could see a Star Trek chevron in the board. And then I looked at it again the next day, and he had corrected it to Star Trek. So somebody told him about it. Senior Sticks also $2 super, and then space toilets. I don't even know what he's talking about there.
Are there space toilets in Star Trek?
Well, there would have to be.
Yes, but what do they look like?
Well, Star Trek likes to be classy enough to just not really deal too much with
sure.
how people go to the bathroom.
Sure.
Almost to a fault. Where you just wonder if people even go to the bathroom in space.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's a joke people always like to make fun of. Anyway, Star Trek in space and not Earth, so mystery box. I don't know what that means.
It means that we don't.
Just because it's Abrams and he does the mystery box thing, but I don't know what that statement means.
No, I think he's just saying Star Trek takes place in space, so we're not. It's more of a question as to what's going to happen in the future because we're in space and not on Earth.
Yeah, sure, but there's still... Yeah, so you don't know what you'll find. Mm-hmm. But it's not just about the technologies in like with the space travel. It's also about how the technology changes us as people. Mm-hmm. You know?
Yeah.
Like, right now, there's kind of the question of whether we're going to let the technology, change us and control us to the point where we won't even try to get out there.
Yeah. Yeah.
We've talked about this before, but it's really odd the ways in which, now that we're in, the mid-2020s, and it's crazy that we're already there. It's odd the ways that we've advanced massively and the stuff that we didn't predict. Like, we didn't know AI was going to be what it is already.
Yeah.
But we also thought we would be charting more of space by now. Like, there's so much science fiction in the 60s that's set before now where we're well out into deep space, or where we're at Mars, or where we've colonized the moon, or even the oceans, or, I think Sequest probably took place by now, or not, or shortly after now.
Yeah.
Or was Sequest in the 2100s? I can't remember. I think it might have even been earlier. I forget.
Like, even friggin' Power Rangers SPD takes place this year.
Does it really?
And it's like, how?
Well, and we're starting to come into some of the early, of course, 21st century stuff in Star Trek that
Yep.
would inform the rest of it as we're getting into. I'm sorry to say, even Star Trek predicts that the early to mid 21st century is, uh, kind of a bad deal, and that we almost destroy ourselves. And so, like,
Oh wow.
everyone, a lot of people worried about World War III. We are not very far away from where World War III falls in Star Trek. I want to say it's the 2040s, 2030s, 2040s, and the Bell riots were last year, and the Bell riots deal with like tenement cities and stuff, and that's not too far away from some things that are happening now. Again, I don't want to get into the details. It's kind of surprising, actually, that Star Trek didn't predict something like COVID.
Yeah.
That you would have a pandemic, and then that would leap us forward in some destitution.
Yeah.
And all and all of that.
But now it's sad because when you try to do something like that, now you're just calling back to COVID, and it's like,
oh, I know. And I feel weird about it with my food novel.
But I just want to make, yeah.
If you go read my food novel now, it looks like a thing I wrote during COVID. I wrote it 3 years before COVID happened, and it looks like a COVID metaphor. I actually keep thinking I should finally try to get like a bigger publishing house to take it.
Yeah.
And then I worry that like it would have been misunderstood, or not misunderstood, but that like pre-COVID it wouldn't speak to anybody, and just post-COVID it would have. But now we're too far away from COVID.
Yeah.
So now, like, I don't know if it works at this point.
Senior Six has another $2 super chat. The Star Trek future can only happen after World War III.
Well, there's always that idea that you have to hit rock bottom.
Before you can go back up. Yep.
Yep. And I actually tend to agree with that.
Yeah.
That like you gotta shock the world out of apathy, to quote Batman Begins, and you have to kind of remind people. And I'm not saying I want this to happen, of course, but you would need some kind of a event like that, World War III, or it wouldn't have to just be World War III. There's other ways it could happen. A worldwide EMP could do it. A nukes dropped on a couple of major nations could do it. Again, I'm not saying I want any of this to happen, but I'm saying that you gotta kind of sadly sometimes repeat some of the worst of history and make people live through it
back around,
so that they understand the history.
Yeah.
Because you got a lot of people now that I'm sorry to say don't have. I'm trying to choose my words wisely. You've got, I think, a lot of people now that don't have a good sense of perspective, and nothing actually horrible has ever happened to them. Like, they don't really know what real, in some ways, real pain. Like, everybody experiences pain, but I mean on a societal level, on like a real, like, bad things happen to people. Having to work 4 jobs to make ends meet sucks. I get that. I mean, like, people are dealing with real, honest-to-God trials and tribulations in their lives. To allude to a DS9 episode title,
Yes.
Certainly.
Tribulation.
But in our lifetime, we've not seen a Vietnam. We've not seen a World War I or a World War II. Like, I'm just saying, it's different. People are used to, even people that are struggling. Most of us still have a supercomputer in our pocket.
Yeah.
I'm just saying it's different.
Yeah.
It's different. Nicholas Bodo, the most unsettling prediction Star Trek made was the assassination of Martin Luther King Jr. Yeah, that's good. That's a good point.
Did they predict that?
Yeah, I think.
I guess I don't know the timeline.
I think he's talking about sitting on the edge forever. Tell me if I'm wrong, Nicholas Bodo. I'm pretty sure that's what he's talking about. I'm pretty sure it's mentioned there because they have to make up some history past where they're at.
Yeah.
And I think it's easy to go back and watch that and forget that it hadn't happened yet.
Yeah, I wasn't sure when that happened, so.
There was another thing I wanted to mention about, like, where we're at in the timeline, like what Star Trek predicted. It's gonna drive me nuts. We're gonna get off this. I'm gonna be like, oh crap, I was gonna mention that, and I totally missed it. Nicholas Boda might have been that episode. Yeah, I'll have to go back and look for that. I think you're right though. I think that's in there. Well, we are past an hour, but Jason, if you want to do some real quick standard replicator, since we're doing a Star Trek thing,
yeah.
I thought it might be fun to do that.
We can do that.
Any last thought? Maybe we should wrap this up in some way.
I think, yeah, I think Star Trek is still one of the best science fiction stuff out there, science fiction things out there. But I will say that whether some of it we have gotten to already or not, it's still like a lot of it is still great storytelling, and a lot of it's still a lot of it still holds up.
Yeah, and a lot of it is still like inspiring and uplifting and challenging too. So like stuff that gives you something to work toward. One thing I meant to mention is I wonder what the perception of Star Trek would be for like a kid growing up and looking at it now, and how much of a turnoff that is, where it doesn't feel as futuristic because of just all the stuff that they like already see in the world in it.
Yeah.
And that's just too distracting.
Yeah. It would also be interesting to see what Roddenberry would say about today.
Yeah. And if he would still say like I still believe in not just the future, but that the technology helps get us to an enlightened place.
Yeah.
You know, and I wonder, because I'm sure he would have had a nuanced view of this. I wonder what he would say about whether technology is always progress. You know, like, would he say everything that's happening with AI right now, for instance, is progress?
Yeah. I don't know.
And then last thought, this all gets this suggests kind of a larger topic too.
Sure.
But we're kind of dancing around. There's a bit of an elephant in the room. We're kind of dancing around, and you just alluded to it, which is why I wanted to bring it up. And like really insightful thought that when you said it's harder and harder to come up with new advanced technologies because of what we've thought of and what we've achieved, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
We cannot overstate and overestimate the fact that we are living in a science fiction story now.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And respective to each decade, going back far enough, you can always say that to a degree, that there were stories that would have seen various advancements and various cultural shifts as bizarre and unfathomable and something that feels like it's in the far future, right? But we're moving at such a fast rate that there's all this stuff that was predicted, and I think especially some dystopian stuff, predicted in the 60s that it didn't take 50 years to get to.
Yeah.
Or took about that long to get to.
I think it's just really interesting because from...
like, robots aren't fantasy anymore.
Yeah.
We're just there. You know, artificial intelligence. It's not what it is in Terminator yet, but we're about there. Like,
well, and it's really interesting because technologically there have been way more advancements from 1920s to 2020s than from the 1820s to the 1920s.
And every century before that. That's exactly right.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
Yeah, and it's awe-inspiring and it's horrifying.
Yeah,
all at the same time. Because you cannot, this is the thing that Star Trek can't do and none of us can do, predict what that century jump is.
Yeah. I mean, will 2125
completely unrecognizable?
Yeah. I don't know.
Well, and isn't it interesting that the AI revolution is happening kind of around the same time, 100 years later, but I mean, like, within the century, kind of around the same time as Industrial Revolution.
Yeah.
Maybe a little later. But that's kind of crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're sort of at the tail end of the Industrial Revolution in 1925.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm. I think.
And I keep worrying, and maybe I can be a little paranoid about this sort of thing, and I can be a little, I don't know, whimsical is not the right word, but like I can wax too poetic about stuff where I see symmetry everywhere. But I keep expecting this century to parallel last century.
Yeah.
So everybody's worried about an impending economic collapse that could rival or be way worse than the Great Recession was.
Yeah.
In 08.
Which was, yeah.
And we got 4 years before we hit where the Depression was, where the stock market crash happened last century. You know, and you've got some major overseas turmoil going on around the same time as you had World War I, and so we haven't had World War III yet.
Yeah. That could happen in the 2040s, though, to be fair.
Yeah, and then we just skip the one, and then we go to the to the two. But yeah, like there's I don't know. I keep waiting for those paralleling events. Anyway, let's go ahead and do some standard replicator. We'll flip this to something kind of more fun and positive. Now, don't get me wrong. I want to think that at some point we as a culture and as a species, because I always say individuals are smart, but people collectively will often be kind of stupid. And so, of course, we have learned all the wrong lessons from social media, and we're using it in like a lot of the worst possible ways we could use it. We've got all this information at our fingertips, and we have not, a lot of us, used it to enlighten ourselves, make ourselves better, learn all that we can. And that's another way that I feel like we are so much more fortunate now that we just take for granted, that like especially younger generations growing up that have always had it just take it for granted. It's like, how is it, and I've said this before, but how is it that in a world where you can for free, like I guess you're paying for your phone and you're paying for internet, but otherwise, that for free you can learn about any subject you want to and nobody reads anymore?
Yeah.
You know, like if you dropped this technology in the laps of anybody with higher than a 5th grade education in 1935, they'd all know more than anybody living right now within a couple of weeks. They'd be like they'd be chewing it up. They'd be like, I got to know everything I can know. And so we're in this kind of like hyper. I'm trying to figure out the right way to put this. You know how you're always worried in science fiction and especially superhero stories about the bad guy getting his hands on the advanced technology? We have that, but everywhere. Yeah. We're like, all of us are the bad guys using the technology wrong. Like it's in the wrong hands because it's in all of our hands, and all of us are misusing it. is kind of what it feels
Well,
like.
and that was the whole point of the internet. Like, I don't know.
And so what I want to think is that someday we can, pardon me for saying it like this, but get our heads out of our asses and figure out the responsible way to use this technology and figure out that not only can we, but we have to. Like, it's either going to destroy us or it's going to lead to Star Trek. I mean, there's not much in between.
Yeah.
You know, and so I want to be optimistic about it, but I think Senior Sticks is right that I think the bottom drops out before it happens. And also, it would take something like that, if it's even possible, to bring us all back together again.
Yeah.
We're so disconnected and divided, and it's not just the two parties and the us versus them, but it's also just how splintered we all are individually with the algorithms that feed us whatever we're already looking at, and all of that. Like, isn't it weird the ways in which we need to, like, there are certain ways we need to embrace the technology really positively, and there's other ways we need to ignore it completely.
Yeah. Yeah.
And what is the incentive for the individual to do that?
Right.
Anyway, I got real soapboxy. Senior Six put in another super chat, $5 super. Appreciate you, man. Thanks a lot. He says, Neil deGrasse Tyson stated planet travel can happen based on alignment. Can we as humans solve turning in space in your view? I don't feel like I know enough.
Yeah, I agree.
I wish I had Brandon here to answer that question.
Yeah, Brandon could, We should have had Brandon here.
This would have been a really good
This would
show
have
for
been
Brandon.
way longer if Brandon was here.
Well, that's okay. We're already an hour and a half, and I was going to try to keep it an hour. So I should never say that.
Yeah.
But being at an hour and a half, do you want to, just to end on a more kind of fun note?
Yeah, yeah.
I'm sorry, have I horribly depressed you?
Yes.
Jason's going to get no sleep tonight.
Yeah.
Well, just remember, like, you as an individual can live in the world the way you want to live in it.
Exactly.
Are you okay?
Yeah.
What have you done to yourself?
I tried to crack my knuckle, and then it did not work at all, and now I've just hurt my hand.
Oh, way to go.
Yeah.
Maybe next time wait to break yourself until after the show.
Yeah.
No, seriously, are you okay?
No, I'm good.
Okay. Do you want to go first or second?
Second.
Okay, so what does that mean? Am I giving to you first?
Yeah, I'm asking questions first.
You're... Okay, right. So I'm giving, you're receiving. Yeah. Okay, so we're gonna. So you want to try a 10-question challenge?
Yeah, I don't know if you can get mine in 10 questions.
Okay, well, I mean, we can make it 20.
Yeah, let's make a 20.
We can just do a standard 20 questions.
20 question, yeah.
So this is it bigger than a standard replicator? We do this a lot on the channel, but it's basically 20 questions. This time it sounds like it's literally going to be 20 questions, except you can have one guess after any question. And okay, so the thing I was going to do was maybe too easy for this.
Okay.
So I will try to think of something slightly more difficult. And
Is it Star Trek?
It is about Star Trek.
Oh.
And hope that it's something that you know anything about. And I think we should probably drop comments.
Yeah.
Like, let's not look at the chat for right now.
Okay.
You guys feel free to play amongst yourselves in the chat, but we're not going to look at it because we don't want anybody to give it away for us. But you guys will get extra points.
Yeah.
That you can use to buy nothing. If you
get nothing.
If you get it before we do. Okay, is it okay if I risk you not knowing it? I feel like this is a thing you should know.
Oh boy.
But I'm worried there's a chance you I don't know if you can get that.
All right.
So I got to think of something you can definitely get.
Is it isolinear chips?
It is not isolinear chips.
Okay.
That sounds delicious though.
No. Oh,
isolinear
man.
chips and salsa.
That's amazing.
They
should market that.
Did you know the first time Brandon and Alex came to Star Trek Club, they brought badly replicated Oreos?
Really?
Yes.
What did they do?
They brought Hydrox cookies. They just were like non-brand Oreos.
That's great.
And it was wonderful. Okay, I am thinking of something that has to do with Star Trek.
Is it alive?
Yes.
Okay. Is it in a movie?
No.
Is it in more than one series?
No.
Is it in more than one episode?
Yes.
Okay. Is it an individual?
Yes.
Okay. Is it humanoid?
Mm-hmm.
Is it human?
No.
Okay. Is it in a series that takes place in the 24th century?
Yes.
Okay. Is it in TNG?
Yes.
Okay. Oh god, I don't have any guesses.
Almost halfway there. You don't have any guesses.
Yeah. But not in a movie. That's
Good use of 9 though. I mean, that's not bad.
Is it a Starfleet officer?
Yes.
Okay. Is this a waste of aggressive? I don't know. Does this person wear red?
Yes.
Okay.
Crap. Sorry, I don't know why I'm blanking on that for a sec. I feel like I might have seen this character in 2 colors. That's why
Okay,
I'm not.
okay.
I think so typically, right? I think so.
No one knows.
Let me just say I think it's been red and yellow.
Okay. Okay.
But anyway,
Maybe I should have just asked.
I think red. I think red.
Does this character have? Okay. I'll just stick with that.
Yeah.
Is this male?
No.
Okay. Oh man. Nothing's coming in.
Why am I picturing red? I feel like it should typically be yellow.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is how rusty I am. When I think about what this character does, it doesn't make any sense that it would be in red, but I'm picturing it in red. Anyway, whatever.
Is this an ensign?
Yes.
Okay. Interesting. Is this? Would you call this a recurring character?
Yes.
Okay. Because I was gonna ask if it was someone from like Lower Decks or something, but I wouldn't call any of those recurring.
I would.
Okay, is it in Lower Decks?
No.
The episode? Okay.
Sorry, I didn't mean to throw you off with that.
Yeah.
I'll give you an extra question with that. But let me just say that my definition of recurring is 2 or more.
Okay, my definition of recurring is like more than 2.
Yeah.
Like,
I've always said 2 appearances you're recurring, but it has to be outside of a 2-parter.
okay, yeah.
So Shelby is not a recurring character. That's a one-shot character.
Right.
But Lower Decks has Ceto Jaxa. Mm-hmm. Do you remember this?
Yeah.
Do you know what else Ceto Jaxa is in?
She's in the Wesley episode.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm surprised you remember
What's
that.
that
Yeah.
one?
That is The First Duty.
Yeah, the First Duty. That's the one with the guy who plays Tom Paris.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, Nicholas Locarno.
Yes.
And she's part of their squadron in that.
Yeah, it's great.
Where they do the Colvert Starburst.
Is that before or after Lower Decks?
No. Lower Decks is later. So
Later, you're
so
right.
she has been so just like with Wesley, she was suspended, and then she goes back to the academy, and then she makes it onto the Enterprise.
Yeah.
Which by itself is a little unbelievable, but
Okay, does this character work on the Enterprise?
oh wait, no, I say that it's not because there's this whole thing about how Picard asked for her.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Anyway,
Does this character work on the Enterprise?
yeah,
Okay. Does this character work in engineering?
no,
Oh, crap. What? Oh. Does this character work on the bridge? Okay. I'm so rusty.
yeah, I know.
Is
All right,
it Ensign Rowe?
it is.
Okay.
It's Rolaren.
She wears red mostly.
but I'm sitting here like, why?
I don't know.
'Cause she's not command except
Right.
for like not disaster. What's that episode? But like she shouldn't be. Maybe it is disaster. Well, whatever. Anyway, it's yeah, but I feel like she wears red a lot, and I'm like,
No,
wait,
she does.
Wait,
She
but,
mostly wears red.
Wait, but why? Anyway.
It fits with her. Doesn't she have a headband that like?
Yeah. Kyle got it. It looks like quite a while back.
Yeah.
Nicely done. Okay, you give me one.
Okay.
And then we will finish
I'm
up
thinking of something that
tonight's
has to do.
scattershot Star Trek related Captain Logan show.
I'm thinking of something that has to do with Star Trek.
What?
Yeah, I know.
What a shocking and creative category.
First ever replicator.
Jason, is it bigger than a standard replicator?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Is it technology?
Well, yeah. No.
Oh, it's not technology. Is it a person?
Yes.
It's a person. Okay, now I'm just going to ask all the same crap you just asked. Is it male?
Yes.
Does he have bumps on his forehead?
No.
Okay. Does he have any kind of prosthetic makeup?
No.
Is he human?
No.
Oh. No prosthetic makeup. But what? Okay. All right. No. There are things. Is this a TNG character? Century character.
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna throw out a guess right away.
Okay.
Is it Lon Suitor?
No.
Okay, all right. Is it? Because he's just got contact lenses. That's why. Because he's Betazoid. Betazoids just have contact lenses. Okay.
He's DS9, right? Or is
Voyager?
Voyager? Okay.
You don't know about Lon Suitor?
Well, yes, but
Is basics, man? Is he a Starfleet officer?
no.
Hmm.
Wait, it's been a while though.
So-
No.
This is great. You don't even know. So he's not human.
No.
He's not a Starfleet officer. Is he a member of a race that has been a major antagonist for the Federation? Yes.
Yeah.
But no prosthetics.
Yeah.
Okay, but like Vulcan Romulan ears count, okay? Like they have prosthetics. Okay, all right. I'm just making well. Anyway. So of a major bad guy race.
I'm
It is.
realizing this is way harder to ask than I thought.
Oh boy. Okay. Is this DS9?
No.
Is it movies?
No.
Okay. I just remember I almost did a movie thing earlier and I forgot about it. Is it? So you said it is 24th century.
Yes.
Is it Voyager?
Yeah.
You said major bad guy race. Is it a Delta Quadrant species?
No. Well, no.
Well, it is or it isn't. That's a location question, okay? Holy crap. Okay. And you said male,
Yeah.
right?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, and not a Starfleet officer. Is this a recurring character?
No.
And it's not. I keep thinking of humans, and I keep thinking of characters of species that I would not call major bad guy races. Because, like, it's not Anorax, right? It's not Anorax. Okay. Do you even know who Anorax is?
Nope.
Okay. Is it... I can't...
Now I fear that I don't know.
You fear what?
I keep
You're
fearing,
talking like you're from the
I
1920s.
keep fearing that I'm doing something wrong.
No. I mean,
We'll
I don't know.
find
maybe
out.
not. So, I'm just afraid you're gonna stump me here. This is pretty crazy. Does this character wear all black?
No.
You said not recurring. Is it a character from a two-parter?
No.
Interesting. Is it a character that is in any way related to a main character? Familially.
What do you mean by main character?
Oh.
like
Title character.
okay, no.
Well, that makes this. You said Voyager.
Yeah, Voyager.
That makes this even more intriguing. The thing that's throwing me off the most is that it's not human but doesn't have prosthetics.
Mm-hmm.
I'm struggling with that. Is it a hologram?
No.
It's not a hologram.
Right.
I know you said that. Is it a character that only appears on the ship?
No.
Is it a character that mostly appears on the ship?
Yeah. With what we see.
So you said it's not a two-parter.
Mm-hmm.
Is it in the back half of the series?
No.
Ooh. Is it Banjo Man?
No, not Banjo Man. Who's Banjo Man?
Banjo Man is Caretaker.
No.
It's not the Caretaker.
Yeah. Forget about it.
Do you know the species name of the Caretaker?
No.
It's the Nacine.
Ah. Banjo Man.
Wow. This is frustrating.
Now I don't know.
You're questioning.
Well, it
this?
makes me want to watch this episode again because it's been a really long time.
You say so. None of this is adding up for me.
Okay.
It's not a human. It doesn't have prosthetics. It's a character that is of a major bad guy race.
Mm-hmm.
It's male.
Mm-hmm.
Is this a character that starts as a crew member?
No.
No. And it's not a Delta Quadrant species. It's like, how the hell does he get this? Is this a... No, because that would have prosthetics.
What were you going to say?
Nothing.
Okay.
I'm grasping at straws right now. Good. Look, okay. I can't even figure out where this character would have come from. Is this an alpha or beta quadrant species?
I can't.
You said it's
answer
not
it.
from Delta.
Like I can't.
No, I'm saying, is it from one of those? You don't know.
I don't know. And I don't know if it's Delta Quad. Like I
know what it is. I know what it is. And if I'm right, you threw me off because this is not that hard. And I was thinking like he's going deep pull places.
Yeah, I know. I wasn't going super.
He's
deep.
going deep pull places. Okay, so let me go back through this.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry this took this long.
That's okay.
Because I've given this before. So
I wasn't sure.
I've given this before. So this is a character. So it's male. It is not human. Mm-hmm. It is from a major bad guy race that would not be from the Delta Quadrant or the Alpha or Beta because he's from another plane of existence entirely, and he is played by an actor that is pretending to look human, but is not human. It's Quinn.
Yeah, it's
from Death Wish.
From
Okay, sorry that took that long.
It's all right.
I went in a direction with it that made it harder.
Yeah.
What I should have asked you is if at any point he's wearing a Starfleet uniform, even though he's not Starfleet. That threw me.
Yeah, that's why I was laughing because I was like, "That's funny."
Did anybody get it?
No.
Anybody have any idea? Everybody's like, God, this is boring. Anyway.
Someone said Q, but not Quinn.
Yeah, so he was on the right. He got to that wavelength well before I did. $2 super chat from Senior Sticks again. Thanks for all the support tonight, man. Did Star Trek continue to have helmsmen? Yes. Because somebody's got to drive the ship. We're always going to have
It
that.
is really interesting that there's no self-driven ships.
There are, but
it's not normal.
That's not your main... Yeah, because otherwise... I mean, part of that is just the conceit of you've got to have a crew. You've got to create the exciting situations.
But also, like, the helmsman, like, doesn't do anything. Like, he literally just sets coordinates and then it goes there anyway. So
that's not true. Sometimes you'll get these really exciting action sequence where it's like, hard to port! Beep, 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 beep! And then, you know that kind of thing. But yes, you do have self-driven ships. Like in Voyager, there's the Prometheus.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the name of that thing.
All right.
Cinematographic, I barely understand what problem the Duras sisters have. To be honest, I don't know what the future of Federation Klingon relationships look like after Star Trek 6. Oh well, just watch more 24th Century Star Trek. And the most interesting stuff with that is in DS9, because by season 5, well, by 4, they become rivals again for a while. I don't know if you know that, Jason, but when Worf comes on, they one of the big things they do through that season is they break their alliance with the Federation.
Oh, I did not know that.
And so we have some skirmishes and stuff, and
Okay.
that's when we bring on Martok and all that. Well, anyway,
I gotta watch through DS9.
everybody, thanks a lot for watching. We went a lot longer than we were going tonight. Hope you had a good time, and we really appreciate you. Jason and I are going to be off next week for all week for Thanksgiving, but we'll be back the week after that. And might be more news, might be another fun topic. No idea yet. We always kind of fly by the seat of our pants with these. But thanks for hanging out with us. We sure appreciate it.
Yeah.
And I'll be back again tomorrow night with Austin with a request, and Friday with the beginning of our top 50 or bottom 50, however you want to look at it. Least favorite superhero movies of all time. And in the meantime, I was Captain Logan.
I was Jason.
Thanks, folks. Bye, everybody.
I wanna take